Hello and welcome back for another standard gameplay video. Today we're going to be playing Dimir Excruciator. This deck list comes from a recent MGTO standard challenge. I haven't made any changes to the deck list. It's also configured as a best of 3, but we'll be playing it in best of 1 today. The main win condition of the deck is using Doomsday Excruciator. It's going to exile all but 6 cards in each player's library, and then at the beginning of our upkeep we draw an additional card. So at face value, we're going to deck before our opponent does. However, we have a couple cards in the deck which can make our opponent draw or mill cards, which will allow us to mill them before we lose the game. And in some circumstances, the flying will also allow us just to kill our opponent with combat damage before we mill ourselves, but that's the backup win condition. At 6 mana as well, we're not usually looking to hardcast this card. We're going to be trying to cheat it into play using Kavaero Mind-Bitten, which will enter as a copy, meaning it will see the cast trigger. This means that the Excruciator has to be in the graveyard, and there's a couple different ways we can get it there. Overlord can mill over it. We can use the Oil Deep Gear Hulk to discard it from our hand, or we can use Winter Night Stories to discard it. Additionally, in the removal column, Bitter Triumph lets us discard a card as well. So quite a few ways we can get the Excruciator into our graveyard. Looking at the rest of the deck, we have quite a bit of creature removal. We're quitting Hex for early game removal, similar for the Bitter Triumph and Shoot the Sheriff, as well as Strategic Betrayal, which also acts as Graveyard Hate. Then for board wipes, we have 1 copy of Deadly Cover-Up and 3 copies of Day of the Black Sun, which account as a board wipe, but it's really in here for the green landfall decks mostly. Then Deceit, we can invoke early in the game, usually for double black, checking our opponent's hand, but we can also do double blue as a tempo play. And then if we copy this with Kavaero, as long as we've paid blue, blue, black, black for Kavaero, then we can still get both modes when he comes into play. Tremendously powerful synergy. Moving on, we have a couple copies of Stock Up in addition to those Winter Night Stories for card selection. And then jump into the last spell in the deck, Emeritus of Ideation. Can hardcast it for 5 mana, or we can again copy it with Kavaero from the graveyard. What we really care about here is the Ancestral Recall, being able to target our opponent and making them draw 3 cards, helping us mill them out before we mill ourselves. Then in the mana base, we're also playing, if I can find it, 4 copies of Restless Reef for 4 mana. It becomes a 4/4 shark with Death Touch, and when it attacks, target player mills 4 cards. So this is another way that we can make our opponent mill cards from their deck so that they lose the game instead of us. The Excruciator deck does typically rank fairly highly when it comes to competitive play, so I have high hopes for the matches today. Although in the newest meta, I know there's quite a few spell decks that don't actually use a lot of creatures, so I am a bit concerned that we are really creature heavy and don't have as many counter spells in the deck to deal with that aspect of the meta. But again, this deck did quite well in the showcase, so maybe my initial instincts are just wrong. We'll have to find out in the games, so without further ado, let's jump into the matches. Ooh, black mana only. I don't hate it. I know this is a bit risky here, but we'll try and keep. Kavaero is a very strong card, and there's our blue already. So never punished. Mono blue so far from our opponent. No play. I think that we're going to pass the turn. Don't want to play into counter magic if we don't have to. And then now we'll use Deceit. Take a look at our opponent's hand. Don't mind if this one gets countered. There it is. Still no play from our opponent. Don't have a fantastic play here. I think we'll pass the turn again. We're still hitting our land drops. Play out the swamp. Again, we'll just be patient. Another Deceit. Don't mind that. Again, we'll evoke it. We'll pay. Alright, that's 3 counters down. Cost us nothing, essentially. And they're going to be on mill. So our Excruciator plan, not necessarily going to work. Let's see, they still have counter magic up. Can't play the Gear Hulk yet. Could play Kavaero. That wouldn't let us play the Overlord afterwards. Just trying to think what the best sequence is here. I think we will try Kavaero here. Get to take a look at our opponent's hand. And our opponent just concedes there. So our patience finally paid off. Good game. This hand is just okay. Does need a bit more interaction. What are we up against? The green deck. We'll get our tap land out of the way first. Shared Roots, so no target for Hex yet. Sultai colors. Can get the passage down. Gonna name black. Let us play our Excruciator later in the game. And a loot, so we are in a lot of trouble here. What do we want to discard? Don't think the Excruciator wants to go. Can get rid of 2 swamps. Very powerful already. Where did this come from? Okay, from the effect here. For each land you control, got it. Well, that is a 0 mana creature, so we can just kill that with the Hex. No point in waiting. And then we still have Shoot the Sheriff up, so we can play out our land tapped as well. Pass the turn. Flow State and Accumulated Wisdom. Notably, the Wisdom will turn on the Flow State, I believe. Yep. So they'll get 2 cards here. If they're playing counter magic in their deck, we could be in a bit of trouble. Spelunking. Couple starting towns. And mill. We don't mind that at the moment. Draw another card. Okay. We could use the cover up first. Don't hate that. Take a look at what our opponent's working with. And then, what do we want to take? This is all them drawing cards. Guess the Wisdom. Their mill as well, so our mill plan is not going to work. And they're just going to win the game. Let me just make sure I clicked on all these. Yep. Bit unfortunate for us. I can't remember the last time I've seen a mill deck outside of the ones we've played on the channel. So they're just going to play out the monument here, and then they'll activate, and that will mill the second half of our library. Had we known it was a monument, we could have taken more cards out of our graveyard with Deadly Cover-Up. Then we'll just lose the game during a draw step. Opponent's not passing the turn, so we're not going to sit around here and wait. We'll just move on. This hand is fine. Has some early interaction. Stock up to refuel. Do we just hold up Hex? Do we get the tap land out of the way? I think since we're curving out, we're going to hold up Hex. No play from our opponent. Play out the Verge and pen the Overlord. We will return the Gear Hulk. Opponent does have priority with something, but they didn't play it. It's an Overlord of their own. Now we have to start thinking longer term. Playing Undercity Soars. We will take another Overlord here. Five mana. Let's see how bad it is. Vibrance. So they get a land, deal some damage. Looks like it's just going to be elementals on our opponent's side of the board. Get the Gear Hulk down here. See what we can discard. This is going to be tough. The Surprise is definitely the best card in their hand, but if we don't take some of these other things, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Imagine Terror comes down here. They drew into one anyway. Looks like Moto Bug has made its way onto Arena. Don't think we have anything here. Needed our board wipe, didn't draw it. See if we can mill over it, show our opponent that we did have answers. Nope. Can't even do that. Yep, either one of these will kill us. They can just eat this with the Awakener, swing back for lethal. So really got dominated here. This will deal 8. Then they can kill us with their attack. This hand is okay. Have the Hex for small creatures, then a couple different plays to follow up. Forest. I think we hold up the Hex here. There is Badgermole Cub. Take that out right away. Then we're going to Deceit. Check our opponent's hand. Make sure they don't have a second cub. They do. Nature's Rhythm's also pretty strong. But I think the Cub just slows them down the most. Love to draw into another land. Well, untap land specifically for next turn. Deadly Cover Up instead. Means we have to use our Black Sun. Another land off the top. We're going to be in a lot of trouble here. The Badgermole Cub just as bad. So we're still looking for that land. There it is. This we're going to have to name Construct, I think. Not necessarily. If we're going to board wipe, maybe we do name Human still. Or Demon. And then, do we even Black Sun here, or do we just bank on drawing into a land for the cover-up? I think we do Black Sun. Tell you, I really hate this Earthbend mechanic. We should have absolutely been dumpstering our opponent by now, but because of the way it works, they are in the game as if nothing has happened so far. Let me see. We'll take the land. That's the 6th land for Excruciator. Next turn, we're going to cover up, pull out all the Ouroboros out of their deck. Might prompt a concession. And there's 6. And there it is. I think we were going to win this one anyway. We were in a pretty dominating position at this point. Don't hate this hand. Obviously, I wish we were on the play. Just an island. Start off with the Reef. Second island. Second Reef. Third island. Unfortunately, this is where we diverge. Play out a Watery Grave. Is this the same mill deck that we played up against in the first game? Elemental. Eluge. So they're going to be looking to counter a lot of things. Alright, luckily that worked. And then here, we're going to take a look at our opponent's hand. Draw a discard. Don't mind about that. Don't really care about that either. Get rid of a couple lands, pass the turn. We'll try and attack in. That works. And then I think we just pass the turn. Really feeling these missed land drops here. Could try and just play out Kavaero as a 4/4. Get some pressure going. Don't mind if it gets countered. harmonize the winter stories. Any card they have in their deck that cares about spells in their graveyard is going to be fully enabled at this point. And we miss on the land drop yet again. Try and impend the Overlord. That gets countered as well. Another winter stories. So whatever it is they're digging for, there's a good chance they have quite a few of them in their hand already. We do hit a land, but it's tapped. I think our opponent's going to bounce our Gear Hulk here. Just tap it down. Play out the Reef tapped. And then we are going to... Oh, so it doesn't really matter paying the life, but I don't think the Hex is going to find any targets in their deck. So we'll discard it, save a bit. See if they want to waste the counter here. They do. Still love to draw into another untapped land next turn. Refueling, more counter spells. And just shoot the sheriff instead. I think that we are going to try and get the flyer down. There's the counter. They also get to draw and discard here. So I don't imagine we have any chance of winning this game anymore. Yep, that should seal it up. We missed too many land drops in the early game, which against the counterspell deck you just can't afford to do. Meanwhile, our opponent did very well in the mana department due to all of their card draw. And we're going to be dead here one way or the other. Now we draw into a land as if just to mock us. This hand is a bit slow. So the way the matches have been going so far, don't think we're going to get anything better. Starting town. Gear Hulk, I think we can do better. Would really like to execute our combo at least one time. What is this? So they're going to be trying to get up to 10. Put a bunch of stuff into play, probably. We'll impend the Overlord. Bring back Kavaero. Those machines. What was that? A land and second land. Don't quite know what our opponent's doing here. Let's see. I think we will Winter Night Stories first. This enters as a copy, so we can get rid of the Excruciator. Then we need to discard another card. Probably Cavern of Souls. Soul Cauldron, so we're punished for our graveyard line. It's going to take the Excruciator right away. No, takes a card out of their graveyard. So they're just going to tap and untap and infinite mana here. It's one turn before we can use the cover up, so they're going to beat us. I feel like this deck that we're playing against is probably pretty bad, although again it's going to beat us, but the redshift dies to all removal. Of course we didn't draw any in our removal heavy deck. Then it's also weak against graveyard hate, and you also need to have the Cursed Blessed, what was Wish Blessed Fairy or whatever, Sleep Cursed Fairy in the graveyard. So it's an ABC combo in standard that's easily disrupted. Just want to see what they put in off of this, then we'll concede. Oh, I'm not dead to that yet. Unless these do something. Now they're making copies. So they also hit the perfect card in their hand here. This is some bullshit. And let me be honest. I don't care what you say about variance. Alright, so there you have the deck. And obviously didn't put up a very strong showing today. Struggled in the matches to assemble our combo. Don't think we ever got the Excruciator into play. And then when it came to what our opponents were doing, our creature removal lined up nicely in a few matches, and those are the ones where we won. But against the decks that weren't playing a lot of creatures, we kind of just ran over. And a couple of the decks that were playing creatures, they went a little larger than what our Day of Black Sun could handle, and we lost those as well. However, there is a ray of sunshine when it comes to the deck, and that is, as I said during the initial deck tech, this is a best of 3 deck, not best of 1. So I imagine when you play in the best of 3 queue, you're going to come up against an entirely different meta, and the deck probably performs differently there. Taking a quick look at the sideboard, which we didn't cover during the deck tech, we have a couple Deathmark here for the green decks, 4 copies of Duress, which is good against those decks that aren't playing a lot of creatures. Then there's also 2 copies of Flash Freeze, which against the loot decks, you can counter the loot when they cast it and so forth. And there's also a couple fair creatures for those matchups as well that you can get down earlier in the game and start applying some pressure. So not all is lost with this deck. Again, it has demonstrated results. I think that the best of 1 meta, though, is maybe a little skewed, and so it didn't do as well as it should have. That being said, the positives in the deck, I did like the interaction of Kavaero, Overlord, and Deceit. Obviously, that's going to be a strong pairing. Might even go up to 4 copies of Overlord if I had my say in the deck building here. I think it's probably much better than having the Gear Hulk in the deck. While the Gear Hulk can discard the Excruciator from hand, the Overlord's just going to have a much higher percentage of finding it from the deck. Similarly, we didn't really get to get Emeritus in play, but I don't know if 3 copies is correct for that one either. Might want to go down to 2, put some other win conditions in the deck. And even when it comes to the removal, if you are playing the Gear Hulk for life gain, then maybe you want to go up to 4 copies of Bitter Triumph. Again, that would just give you a higher chance of discarding your Excruciator if it was in hand, and it doesn't have the restrictions that Shoot the Sheriff does on who it can target. Other than that, I don't know if you necessarily want to cut the Day of Black Sun, especially if you're going to be playing best of 3, since I didn't really get to try it out there, and I imagine it's in the deck for the green ramp and aggro decks, sweep up their lands, their Badgermole Cubs, their Elves. So it does make a bit more sense to me. Please let me know in the comments below. What do you think we could do to improve this deck for best of 1 play? As always, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content.